For basically our entire lives, we've thought of scientific papers as the bedrock of human knowledge, right? It's how we know what we know. But what if I told you that very system, the engine we use to separate fact from fiction, is breaking down right now? What happens when the foundation of truth itself just starts to crumble? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. The whole idea of writing a paper, having a few anonymous experts look at it, and then taking it as gospel based on blind trust, that's over. That trust is evaporating before our very eyes. So let's dig into why.
Okay, so this leads us to a really important and honestly, a kind of scary concept. Epistemic collapse. It sounds super academic, but it's simple. It's what happens when we, as a community, can't even agree on how to tell what's true from what's false anymore. When the tools we use to check things break, everyone is just flying blind. This idea is absolutely central to understanding this whole crisis.
Now, it would be so easy to point the finger and blame this all on AI. But the truth is, the system was a house of cards long before the robots showed up. The foundations of scientific publishing were already cracking under their own weight.
So where do we even start? You know what? Let's follow the money. Look at this number, 40%. A 40% profit margin. That's what some of the biggest academic publishers are reporting. And to put that in perspective for you, that is often higher than Apple or Google. Think about that. An entire, massively profitable industry has been built on a system that was supposed to just be about sharing knowledge.
And okay, what about the actual quality of the science? Well, a huge survey in the journal Nature found that a shocking 70% of scientists have tried and failed to reproduce another scientist's experiments. This is what people call the reproducibility crisis. It means that a huge chunk of what we call peer-reviewed science might just be, well, wrong. It might not hold up.
So on top of being unreliable, the system is just painfully slow. I mean, we're talking an average of over 100 days just to get a paper through peer review. Now, when you're dealing with something like a global pandemic, that kind of delay isn't just inefficient, it can be downright deadly. We're basically using a communication model from the age of the printing press to solve 21st century problems. It's wild.
So this all comes down to this absolutely absurd economic model that experts call the triple pay system. Here's how it works. First, public money, your tax dollars, funds the research. Second, scientists, who are often paid by those same public funds, do all the work. They write the papers and review other papers for free. And third, you, the public, and our universities have to pay again through these massive subscription fees just to read the very research we already paid for in the first place. It's a brilliant business model for sure, but it's a terrible system for science.
And right into this broken, slow, and kind of exploitative system comes this powerful new force, artificial intelligence. Now look, AI didn't start the fire, but it is acting like a massive accelerant. It's pouring fuel on it, turning what was a slow-motion crisis into a full-blown emergency that we just cannot ignore anymore.
And we've got the data to prove it. This study from UC Berkeley shows exactly how AI has just supercharged paper output. You can see it right there. It's a 50% increase for all researchers and a staggering 90% jump for researchers with Asian names or institutions. The system was already drowning in papers. Now it's facing an absolute tidal wave of AI-generated text that it has no way of handling.
And this brings us right back to that term, epistemic collapse. See, the real problem isn't just the sheer number of papers. It's that AI fundamentally breaks the old ways we used to judge quality. The signals, the little clues we relied on to tell us if research was legit, are becoming totally worthless.
This slide shows you exactly how that's happening. In the past, all these things on the left, writing really polished prose, doing a huge literature review, all that took a ton of effort. That effort was a costly signal that told you, hey, this is a serious researcher. But now, look at the right side. With AI, the cost of all those things just plummets to basically zero. The expensive signals of quality have become cheap, and because of that, they're becoming meaningless.
And here is the crazy paradox that this quote gets at. AI can help write these incredibly complex, sophisticated-sounding papers, but the research is showing that those same papers are often of substantially lower quality. The old connection we assumed, that good writing equals good science, is officially broken. We're now in danger of mistaking polished language for actual truth.
Okay, so the old system is broken. AI has basically ripped the cover off and exposed it for everyone to see. But this collapse might be exactly what science needs. It's forcing a massive shift, a move away from a system based on blind trust to one based on something much, much stronger: verification. This slide right here really captures the entire philosophical shift we have to make. We've got to go from the system on the left, a system built on trusting anonymous reviewers and big institutional brands, to the system on the right, a system built on verifying what people actually did and using accountable, transparent tools. In other words, it's a move from just trusting the story to actually verifying the work.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, the first big idea is all about transparency. Imagine this. Instead of secret reviews behind closed doors, papers are published instantly as preprints for the whole world to see and critique out in the open. Reviewers have to sign their names to their feedback. And journals? They stop acting like gatekeepers and instead become curators, simply pointing to the best research that the community has already vetted.
A second bucket of fixes is all about proof of work. So instead of a PDF, the paper is actually a program. Reviewers can literally click Run and see for themselves if the results check out. You could use things like blockchain to create a tamper-proof public record of every single research step. Or, get this, you could even create markets where scientists can bet real money or reputation on whether a study's findings will actually hold up over time. The theme is the same. Verify the work, don't just trust the pretty story.
So as we start to wrap this up, it's really important to see this crisis not as the end of science, but as a painful, messy, but totally necessary evolution. Because if you look back at history, you realize we've been here before.
Back in the 17th century, the old system of secret knowledge and natural magic collapsed, and that forced the invention of public, replicable experiments. Then in the 19th century, a system based on just a gentleman's honor failed, which led to the institutions and peer review that we have today. You see the pattern? Each collapse forced science to get more rigorous and more transparent. The AI collapse is just the next big step in that long journey.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The goal here isn't to figure out how to save the broken system of peer review. The goal is to ask a much bigger, much more important question. In an age of artificial intelligence, what does it truly mean to verify knowledge? What are the real problems we actually need to solve to build a system of science that's truly trustworthy, transparent, and ready for whatever comes next?